Hey, DeadZephyr's here. This is gonna be, I guess, a vlog type thingy, and I'm just gonna put gameplay as the video. Yeah, I'm just gonna talk about myself a little bit for what's happened to me for the past couple years, because I don't know, I just felt like it. I just felt like doing something a little different than gameplay, and I'm actually really nervous right now because I'm used to hiding behind the gameplay, like it's just about the game, and I'm just playing it and trying to make jokes, which I generally fail at, but. This is different. This is just me talking, and then there's just going to be video because otherwise it'd just be a black screen. But that's fine. I'm not. I don't put myself in uncomfortable situations nearly enough, and I need to try to get used to that because that's the way life is, I guess. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly how this is going to go or how long it's going to be, but I'm just going to kind of ramble on until I think I'm done. So I guess first off, I'll tell you my real name, just my first name. It's Jeremy, and I'm 21 years old, and I live with my parents. Okay, so the reason I live with my parents still, and I'm 21, is I didn't have a job when I was in high school because I was trying to make sure that I had good grades and stuff. So I never really wanted to get a job because I figured, I mean, I'm a relatively smart guy, but I figured my grades might drop if I tried to get a job and stuff. And I think part of it was also just laziness because I have really good parents and they took care of me. They took care of whatever I needed. So it's just never something I really wanted to do, I guess. To be honest about it, I guess this is about honesty. We moved after I graduated high school. We moved somewhere else, and then I turned 18 like 2 or 3 weeks later. And then I started having elbow problems. I mean, it took a few months to diagnose and stuff, but I had a giant cell tumor, which is a non-cancerous type of tumor, so it's not that bad. But it was in my right elbow, and I had to have it removed with surgery, which caused my right elbow to be really weak, which means I couldn't really do much of any physical anything with it for risk of, possibly injuring it and having to have another surgery, and they were really expensive and stuff like that. So I wasn't able to get a job for a long time. So that's, I continued to live in my parents' house. Now, it was, I'm not good with time frames if I don't have dates, but it was probably over a year. I think it was like a year and a half. And, afterwards, my arm was finally kind of healed up, and I got the okay from the doctor to do physical labor so that I could actually go get a job for the first time in forever, which I don't know if I was still 19 or if I had turned, I think I was still 19. I was about 19 and a half, I think. Yeah, I just never had a job before, and I don't know, it's just weird for me to think about getting one. But uh, me and my friend, who still lived where I lived originally, we had a plan that he would move in with me where I had moved to and live with me and my parents, which was going to be a little weird, but we didn't have much of a choice. He didn't have any money saved up. I didn't have any money saved up, and we were going to move in together, work for 6 months or a year, whatever it took, to get some money together so that we could move out together, and then we could both be on our own and independent and all that other stuff. But over the course of over a year, I got a good job. Good. It wasn't minimum wage, so it was better than that. But I got a decent job, and I continued to save up money and stuff. But my friend didn't. He just screwed me over a few different ways, and not saving up money so that we couldn't move out was one of them. And after over a year of me trying to help him, me trying to be a good friend to him and get him out of this crap situation and out of his his depressed state of mind that caused him to not be able to save up money. He always spent it on friends and loaned it to people that he knew he'd never get it back from. But that was just his way of dealing with his problems, I guess. But after over a year of that, I decided that I was going to tell him that he needed to move out. So I started talking to him nicely about it, saying maybe, it'd be better if he went somewhere else because this isn't working out so great. And so he was planning to go live with his mom, but then his mom passed away. And so he went to live with another family member of his. And then I was at that point where I had plenty of money saved up. I had a decent job that I didn't like very much, but I don't think anybody likes their job, especially not the first one where they make, just above minimum wage. It's just people don't like it. That's just kind of the point, I think. That's why they pay you. But I didn't like it, and I guess I was almost spoiled when I was younger because I mean I'm in a middle class family. I'm not rich or anything, but I was spoiled because my parents were good and they didn't force me to go get a job or anything. So I had a job for over a year, and I had plenty of money saved up. I didn't have hardly any bills, cell phone bill and insurance for my car, and that was about it. I didn't have to pay rent or anything. And after my friend moved out, even with having plenty of money saved out, I didn't have any other friends here. Where I live now, I don't have many friends at all just because I'm very introverted. I don't like talking to people I don't know, and that's part of the reason that right now my heart is beating, and it feels like it's going to come up out of my throat, and I'm just talking to a computer screen at the moment, so it's kind of hard for me. But anyways, I had my money saved up, but I wasn't making enough money to be able to sustain the amount of money I had in my bank when I moved out. So I knew that I was going to slowly start losing it and eventually get to the point where I had to move back in with my parents because I wouldn't be able to I wouldn't be able to pay for a place by myself. And so that got me I started getting kind of depressed, and I don't even like using that word because I'm a male, I'm white, I was born into a middle class family. I've got great parents that haven't broken up and divorced, and it's just I have a lot more going for me than most people do as soon as I was born. So I feel like just saying that I'm depressed or anything like that is like I'm complaining about something that most people have much worse versions of in their life, and it feels stupid to me, but that's just the way it was. I felt, depressed, and I got to where I just hated my job because I was going to it to make money, but I had, quite a large amount of money for someone who makes, that much an hour in my bank because I never spent it for over a year, but I just didn't feel like working, considering that I wasn't spending my money on anything of importance. I just felt unnecessary, which I know I should have kept working, but I ended up quitting my job. Now, at this point, I was still living with my parents. There was nothing I could do about that, and there was really no option besides, finding someone to move out with and then moving out with them. And that just is really hard for me because even all the people at my job I knew, and I was kind of friends with them, but I wasn't anywhere near close enough to them to be able to actually move in with them or have them move in with me or anything like that. It was just it's really hard for me to make friends. So I quit my job, and then for, it was 7 or 8 months of just doing nothing, just sitting in my room and playing video games and watching TV and movies and stuff like that. And it's just really awful. And my parents are great. They're really understanding. They didn't pester me much. I just said I was taking a break because I had plenty of money. I didn't really need to be making money right now so much, considering I didn't have anything important to spend it on. And so they left me be, which I thank them for, because it's just, I don't know how well I would have taken being told that I had to go get a job. Yeah, but I just sat in my room and did really nothing, and just kind of fell into this hole of blehness for months and months. And I think it was like 6 or 7 months, and then I decided that I watched a lot of YouTube, I watched lots of Let's Plays, and I thought I think I can do that. I went to a school. I learned a little bit about editing and like video making and stuff like that. So I figured if I get a real cheap little editing system, I can cut my videos together and make better stuff than what most people who start out brand new making videos on YouTube do. I thought, maybe I can do that. That'll be something that'll be a hobby. I can do it for fun, or maybe eventually I could even get to the point where I could make it into a job. That'd be amazing. Like, that's my dream. I mean, I don't think that's ever going to happen, but if it did, that would be like my perfect world, I think. But that's what a lot of people think. Anyways, I started making videos, and I wasn't very good at them. I was a little too lazy to take the time to to actually make really good ones. So I was just making kind of crap. I was trying to be funny. I think I'm a pretty funny guy when it comes to being around friends and family and stuff, but I'm not good at it when I I put on the mic, I start recording, and I think, okay, I got to be funny. I'm really bad at doing it then. It doesn't come naturally to me. I think it comes naturally when I talk to people and when I'm interacting with other people and responding to them and stuff, but just talking by myself, just to no one, it's really hard to actually come up with stuff that's funny or interesting or anything like that. So I had quite a few videos actually that weren't very good, and even some of the ones I make now are not great, but they're something, and I think they're improving, and I'm getting better at realizing how to edit and how to talk, and how what kind of a mind frame I need to be in when I'm making videos to make them actually be good. But I started making the videos, but then it was like another 6 months almost before I even got a job. And I got a job as a part-time job, and I'm working like with my dad, and it's at home, and it's like really part-time. It's only like 30 minutes or an hour a day, which is more than I need right now because my parents, being awesome people, don't make me pay rent, so I still don't have any bills or anything like that. So this is just trying to get me started, so hopefully that'll pick up, and maybe I'll get to the point where it's actually like a actual part-time job here shortly, or over the course of a couple of months. But I still make videos, and I had like a 3 month slump there right in the middle where I just stopped because I just was unhappy with the stuff I was making, and the fact that I wasn't getting any views kind of got me down, and I thought, I don't know how I'm going to make it any better if I can't make better stuff, and I just didn't think I could at the time. So I was just kind of stuck, and I just went back into that hole of doing absolutely nothing that was important or making no progress whatsoever in my life. And then I started making videos again. I decided that I had to have something to focus on, but that's when I started making videos, and it was a couple months after I started making it again when I actually got my job. But that's really all I ever do that's important. Is I make videos, which I don't do nearly as often as I could and as I should, but it's hard to get motivated when I just don't think that my stuff is good enough, and I don't know how to make it good enough, and I don't get, very many views, which most people don't. I mean, that's just the way it is, but it's hard because I feel like I take more time and put more of myself into my videos and try to make them higher quality than most people do, because, I see people with like 20-minute Let's Plays of them that are completely uncut and they have thousands of views, and I have like 12 views or 5 views on a video that's been out for 4 days or 5 days, and 2 of them are me because I went to my own video. So it's hard, but I'm trying. And another thing that's made me kind of not in a great mood lately is because I get lazy and I get into that slump, I've been extra out of shape because I've always been heavy. I've been kind of fat. That's just the way it is. For a long time, since I was like 14 years old, I started gaining weight, and that's just the way it's been, and I'm just used to it now at this point, which is, I think, not a good thing probably. I need to try to get in shape, but I have trouble getting motivated because I don't have anybody to do it with. My dad's working all the time. My mom's, she doesn't feel good a lot, so she can't work out. She has back problems and fibromyalgia and stuff like that. And I just don't have anybody else to work out with or do anything with, so I don't have anyone to motivate me. And so it's just me. And I always thought I had a strong will, a strong mind, that I could do that kind of stuff, but I find it really difficult. I got a membership to a gym that I pay like almost $40 a month for, and it's just not worth it because I almost never go, and it's just, I need to cancel it, but I'm too lazy and I'm too forgetful to even cancel it when I don't use it. So, but I'm gonna try to do it, and I might even make vloggy type videos like this more frequently and do those as like updates on how I'm doing. And it's not for anybody else because I know nobody cares about that. That's not something anybody cares about. It's just for me to do to make myself feel better, because I don't, I have people to talk to. I have a few people to talk to, but I don't really feel comfortable talking to them about stuff like this because everybody else, everybody I know has worse problems than I do, and they're just, it seems stupid to talk to them and tell them about my problems when theirs are worse, and they would trade problems with me because theirs just aren't as bad, and so it feels stupid to talk to them about it. So that's why I'm sitting here talking into a mic about whatever comes to mind, and that's just what comes to mind. So I'm gonna try to get in shape. I got to do something. I'm gonna cancel my gym membership. We have a treadmill at the house. I don't need that membership for that much, considering I don't use it often, and I just need to start doing other stuff to at least trying to get in shape. I need to start eating a little bit better. I'm not good at it, but that's what I'm gonna try to do. And maybe if I keep a log of it and I do, this relatively often, then maybe that'll help keep me motivated. Maybe I'll feel the need to make these videos, and so I'll feel like I need to make progress. But for right now, I haven't decided if I'm going to do that or not. So I thought I'd talk for a little bit and get things off my chest and just explain things out a little bit more about my life so that I can understand them better. And if nobody else wants to watch this or anything, then dislike the video. It's okay. I'll know not to make any more of these if nobody likes it. Not that I think many people will, but I thought I'd just try something a little bit different. I've always wanted to make slightly different videos too, along with Let's Plays, like IRL videos and stuff like that, but I don't really have the option to right now. I have a camera, but it's not very good, and I need to hook it up, I actually need to put something in my computer so that I can actually download the video from it and stuff like that, so it's not going to happen for a while. So yeah, thank you for just listening to me ramble on about myself for a few minutes. If you watch this, then leaving a comment would be really great, just to let me know what you thought, or at least like or dislike it, so I know how people feel about it, so I know whether to stop making it or not, because I only have about 10 subscribers, but I don't want to piss them off. Yeah, as always, thanks for watching. Bye.